We're about to have a big supply chain crisis. There are going to be empty shelves all across America.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, if we don't have food on these shelves in 2 weeks, it's not going to be good.
Seattle's shipping port is empty. So is LA. It looks like that's the 3 main shipping ports on the West Coast. They are no longer getting international shipments. The last one is scheduled for tomorrow. This is going to have huge implications for our economy really quickly, and also long term. We are probably going to face one of the biggest economic recessions we've seen in probably over a century. This is going to be really bad, especially with all of the migrant labor that we rely on now being gone. If farms can't harvest, if people can't ship things in and out, if truck drivers can't pick up deliveries, our entire system crashes. We are going to see food shortages, empty shelves, job losses, and even higher inflation with all these tariffs. It's going to be pretty crazy. In like 3 to 6 months, we're really going to start feeling this really hard as the harvest isn't being harvested, as retail stores aren't having any inventory and go out of business. This is going to affect mostly middle class, lower class Americans. Rents are going to go up even more. Mortgages are going to go up. It's going to get harder to get loans. And we are going to see huge layoffs. It's time to start channeling your grandma who survived the Great Depression. Start your garden. Start learning canning. Buy a bidet, switch from paper to cloth products, shop locally. This is probably going to be a lot worse than what we saw during COVID. And the fucked up thing is the people at the top with all the money aren't going to be hurt by this. It's going to be us. And while everything is skyrocketing in price and while everything is crumbling apart, they're going to snatch up all these stocks as they plummet, so they can buy super low and get even more money in the future. They are manufacturing an economic crisis that will hurt middle class and lower class Americans the hardest while they boost their fortunes. There is so much manufacturing of an economic crisis. This is all avoidable. But yet, here we are.
Tariff shortages are coming, and if you don't stock up now, you're going to be paying triple or fighting for scraps later. This is your warning. Share, repost, and let's talk about it. We're not just talking about inconvenience. We're talking about the basics for survival disappearing from the shelves. Prices are already rising because of the supply chain breakdowns and tariffs. And the harder it gets to import, ship, and stock supplies, the harder it's going to be for you to survive. Ask yourself right now, what are you doing to get ready? Here's what's about to vanish or triple in price. Morale boosters like coffee and tea, cereal grains, bread, oats, rice, and pasta, dairy products, fruits and vegetables, core protein sources like pork, beef, and seafood. We're already seeing the U.S. beef supply strain because of the heavy reliance on imports. And if you don't have a direct source like a local farmer or rancher, you'll be stuck paying premium prices or going without. But it's not only the food. Expect severe shortages in diapers and baby supplies, laundry soap, and personal hygiene items, all critical products to avoid illness and disease. Clothing and footwear, especially for the growing kids. Electronics, appliances, and basic home goods. Now think medical equipment, solar panels, batteries, furnaces, water heater, air conditioning, refrigeration. It's not just the finished products. You have to keep in mind the imported components for products made in America as well. Unless this is all turned around, the shortages are coming. Stock up, lock in your essentials, because in a real crisis, the prepared don't panic, they survive.
Okay, so you guys know I'm a gig worker, right? And I've been warning you for the last couple of weeks that I had been seeing something. When they tell you there's going to be a shortage, there's going to be a shortage. See behind me? See the top of this shelf? Normally, and I'm in the canned foods aisle, normally this shelf is topped off with overstock. It's all gone. So, yeah, is there a shortage coming? There's a shortage coming. I'm also noticing and I'm in Walmart, I'm shopping an order for a customer. I will also tell you what is becoming very light is the dry pasta. There's been holes in that for the last week. So y'all need to stock up. Now is the time to do it. I definitely would be doing that, because this is a sign that the holes on the supermarket shelf are going to be getting even more.
This is my local Costco. Oh, yeah, there were no eggs here today. Yeah. Yeah.
Trump moments ago claiming America's inflation problem is over.
We're ending the inflation nightmare, the worst that we've had probably in the history of our country.
The U.S. economy just shrunk for the first time in a long time. And this is, the economy was actually expected to grow by 2.3% in Q1 previously, which is decent, but it actually shrunk by 0.3%. And keep in mind, the tariffs haven't actually fully kicked in yet.
The Port of Los Angeles is the busiest in the Western Hemisphere, but now it's preparing for a dramatic slowdown, according to Executive Director Gene Soroka.
What do you anticipate happening over the next couple of weeks? In 2 weeks' time, Carter, we'll see a drop on our import side of the business by about a third. It could be as much as 40% the week to follow. Most American importers are saying that they're stopping shipments out of China because they simply weren't going to pay 2.5 times the cost of the goods.
A group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves.
Something we haven't seen since the pandemic. Sound familiar? When we couldn't find toilet paper back then? Yeah, could happen again. PepsiCo just came out this morning with a lower full-year earnings forecast due to the cost of tariffs and lower consumer spending, according to the Associated Press. PepsiCo being hit hard by a 25% tariff on aluminum imports, which it depends on for soda cans. The CEOs of Target, Walmart, and Home Depot now warning the president product shortages could happen if tariffs continue. Business leaders met with Trump earlier this week, telling him his tariffs could lead to inflation and force them to raise prices. On Wednesday, the president told reporters at the White House the 145% tariff on China is, quote, very high. The president signaling the tariff on China could come down substantially in the next couple of weeks, regardless of a deal with China. Business leaders are now worried about higher prices for consumers ahead of the holiday shopping season later this year. PepsiCo says it's bracing for high uncertainty.
Well, clothing prices are definitely going to go up, but what people may not realize is that there will be a significant increase in the price of footwear. About more than 60% of all footwear comes from China and Vietnam. And so we're looking at tariff prices that may be as high as 50% for products from Vietnam. That doesn't necessarily mean that a $100 pair of sneakers is now going to be $150 for you, but it will be in terms of the price that the importers that we're getting for the import.
Clothes, shoes, cars, be thinking about all those. Absolutely. What about electronics?
Electronic smartphones prices are going to go up. The top line iPhone could go from $1,600 to $2,300, according to some of the analysts that we're looking at, as much of a 40% jump in the price of an iPhone. So that's something to keep your eye on. But it's not only that, it's also computers, it's also laptops, video consoles, all of that.
Okay, and then finally, if you're out, you're trying to have a good time, you're going out to eat, it's already expensive to go out to eat. But if you kind of want to knock the edge off a little bit, our top story viewers do sometimes, you want to have a drink, you want to order a beer, glass of wine, you got to be mindful, right?
Got to be mindful. And so a lot of people think if it's American made, it's going to be great. I'll save money there at least. Not necessarily. The cork, the bottle, so many parts of what go into, say, the wine industry are imported. So that could also have prices, even for American winemakers, to go up.
We're in a bumpy period, gang. You got to hang on for this ride economically and in the markets.
I think this is obvious, is tariffs are highly regressive, meaning that poorer people end up paying a disproportionate percentage of the tariffs because they spend 100% of their paychecks on goods. So they're going to Walmart, they're going to their stores, they're buying goods with their paycheck. Wealthier people save a bigger percentage of their paycheck. So the tariffs are going to affect the poorer people more.
America, this is not a joke. All these videos and stories you've heard about the ports, this is real. This is Shanghai right now on the National Aquamarine site. Every single circle here in Shanghai is a vessel that's just sitting there. Now let's take a look at America. Here's Los Angeles, one of our busiest ports. Nobody's there. I even looked at Philadelphia and New York. Nothing. Then I thought about Washington State, huge ports. Nothing. Back to China. That's what I'm saying. This is not good. So these articles are not lying. Huge decline at LA port is a hit to truckers and a stark warning of coming tariff damage? I would say so. Once again, that's LA right now. Nothing. There's nothing there. Even Financial Times from Vision, a data provider, showed container bookings from China to the U.S. fell 45% by mid-April. I don't think they're coming, people. I mean, this shit is everywhere. Empty ports, empty shelves. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but if you see the amount of circles on this map right here in Shanghai, the world's busiest port, that means they might not be coming. I just want people to know this is real. And we have nothing going on at our ports.
That's the owner of Jensen's, Adam Zach. We walked through the aisles to find foods made in other countries.
Made in Switzerland.
Less perishable items people could buy now and save for later to avoid spending more when President Trump's tariffs go into effect.
And this is when you could stockpile this for 6 months. As long as you keep it sealed. The hard cheeses are the ones that you could save.
According to MarketWatch, more than 40% of Americans are stockpiling groceries in anticipation of price increases. Sales spiked on non-perishables like canned vegetables, instant coffee, and ketchup right after Trump's largest tariff announcement on April 2nd.
I'm anticipating increases.
Shopper Carol Arnett saves on perishables by buying in bulk and then vacuum sealing them to last.
I vacuum pack and freeze half of those, and then we have nice fresh stuff throughout the month.
Zach recommends stocking up if you're particular about buying certain foreign goods. Things like wine, olive oil, chocolate, coffee, or cheese could store well.
Especially if you have a favorite chocolate, say, this is the only one I like, you would want to stock up on that. Say it's from Belgium or France or somewhere.
But overall, Zach says you'll probably only save a couple dollars. He believes prices on non-perishable items won't fluctuate much, even when tariffs go into effect.
You might see something that maybe it's costs $4 now, maybe it goes to $4.50. I don't think it'll be huge.
He says the best idea is to get flexible with your grocery choices, shopping for locally sourced brands that might not be impacted. Perla Shaheen, ABC 10 News.
April 29th, 2025. It's Wrigley's, y'all. This is the empty shelves they talking about. Right. That's it. It's some stuff. But it's starting though.
Got to be, I guess it's starting, y'all. All the shelves are empty. And this is where all the vegetables and the fruit and everything is. I see.
Hey, it's me, Min. I live in Hawaii. I have a master's degree, several teaching certificates, have been in sales and education for over 25 years. I've also done retail on and off since I was 15. Retail goes in cycles. Stores shop 6 months in advance. Stores right now are planning their back to school and fall orders and shipments, designs, whatever. The birds overhead. This is not to panic, but to prepare. I live in Hawaii and we have a first row seat to the empty shipping containers that are coming to the west coast of America. Think of all the things you get: deodorant, pet food, toothbrushes, toilet cleaner, toilet brushes, toilet paper, anything in a plastic container, anything with a metal attachment, anything electronic, anything in a can. All of this shiz comes from China, but no more. The shipping containers are empty. All the ports are sitting empty. All the truckers are getting laid off because there's no more trucking shipments, because no more shipments are coming in, because tariffs have doubled, tripled, quadrupled prices across the board. Think back to school. Right now is when these things should be getting into the stores for them to start preparing their back to school supplies. So anything that you want to buy that you could foresee yourself or your family needing anytime during the next 6 months or so, go buy it now. I'm not talking panic hoarding like 2020. I'm talking about go and buy enough toothbrushes for the year. Buy enough toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, razors, pet food, kitchen scrubbers, soap for the whole year. Just put it on a credit card, buy everything you need, restock for the whole year. TP2 or switch over to a bidet. canned fruits, veggies, and proteins as well, and a giant sack of rice, and a giant sack of beans, and a giant sack of oats, and a giant sack of lentils. And then get your garden started and relax. And then you don't have to deal with the empty shelves in the grocery store or in the big box store when all the shortages will become really visible in the next few weeks. Don't panic, just prepare.